GameSpot editor Jessica Cogswell has attacked former World of Warcraft team lead Mark Kern and anyone who is following his 8-step plan and signing the petition to uncensor Stellar Blade. She described the petition and the 8-step plan as, quote, the most unhinged behavior I've seen in quite some time. Before we get to this, I'd like to ask you, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at the Trent Report. Wrote this up over at thatparkplace.com yesterday. And if you don't know what is happening, basically the Shift Up Corporation, the developer behind Stellar Blade, promised on April 21st that Stellar Blade offers the same uncensored version in all countries, including the Japanese version. However, it did not seem to actually do that. We have Rodrigo Ibanez sharing screenshots of how one outfit, the Holiday Bunny, was censored. You can see that clothing was added in the cleavage area and then as well as around her hips. And not only did we see outfits being changed upon the release based on previous footage that had been shared and marketed, we also saw that gore was reduced as well. You can see here a pre-patch post where the main character Eve has killed some kind of demonic creature and is kind of soaked in the blood of the creature. And then in the right one, the blood has been significantly toned down, not as much blood spatter from the creature. So given these changes, Kern launched an 8-step plan to uncensor the game, as well as a petition. The petition, which has currently, it's probably over that now. I think it's over 10,000 now, but at the time of the writing, it was over 5,200. It says Stellar Blade is a phenomenal new game that just launched on PlayStation 5 worldwide, but it has a problem. The content has been censored from the original trailer version posted by Sony. We just went over that. We as gamers want this content back. We relied on it. We made the game the #1 pre-order worldwide because of it. It had gone gold. And this is the true game we want. Stellar Blade is more than a game. It has become a cultural beacon for freedom of expression in a time where game publishers like Sony are censoring games more than ever. Stellar Blade was a breath of fresh air, and gamers rallied behind it because it meant things were changing, getting better, and the voice of creative freedom was ringing loud and clear. But for reasons unknown, the game was censored, changes were made. What we received after our good faith purchase was not the same as advertised. We believe in the game. We believed in Shift Up, and we are asking to get the game we believed in. Revert the censorship changes, patch the game, and you will find that even more gamers will join and support you. And there's a screenshot of that petition right there. So in reaction to this, Cogswell took a bunch of screenshots of the petition of Kern's 8-step plan, shared it to her social media account on X, and said, "This is the most unhinged behavior I've seen in quite some time, and I have a 2-year-old. It's not unhinged at all. Wanting to buy something wanting a product that was promised to you be delivered to you is, I think, very reasonable. You don't want to buy something that was promised and you get something completely different. If you're wanting to, they're selling you an apple and you're getting an orange. I don't think you want to. You want an apple. You don't want an orange. That is a reasonable. That's a reasonable complaint to have. It's not unhinged behavior whatsoever. What is unhinged is calling it unhinged. And Jessica Cogswell is no stranger to making unhinged comments in the past. I mean, this is a person who is supposedly writing for a video game website that wants to inform, educate, entertain video game players, but she's repeatedly attacked them over the past, and specifically attacked, or at least shown an animus towards white men in the past as well. Just back in March, at the end of March, she said, "Man, I don't know how all these incel gamer dudes are expecting games to have hot characters and characters representative of them at the same time." She said, and then she's like reading some of the replies, and she says, "Get a life, weirdos." And then she creates kind of an argument, I guess, that she's saying that people are making towards her. And she says, "When did we ever say we wanted representation?" And she says, "Every other time your collective tweets, it's about how woke characters and women are in every role, and you miss cis white men being allowed in things." So obviously using a pejorative there to attack white men. Assuming that everyone, I guess, who is not happy with video games being injected with wokeness being white. So that, again, like I said, that's not the only thing that she said. In March 2023, she declared she would stop using the term JRPG and declared that white people should not comment on the subject. She says, "I've used the term JRPG for years, and honestly, Hannah is completely right, and I'm going to stop. It is a category that doesn't need to exist. Games should be separated by content, not the race of the people creating them. I think this is one of those things we need to do away with. Clearly, people aren't commenting based on people's race. Japan is a nationality and an ethnic group. I wouldn't describe them as a race. I guess you could maybe describe them as a race, but and when you're describing something as a Japanese role-playing game, it's more of that it was created in Japan by Japanese people rather than maybe something that was created here in the West, either in Europe, Canada, or the United States, or even something in Korea or China. I think that you do differentiate those. There is a distinction. But nevertheless, she went on and said, even if you didn't mean it in a negative way, I think about how it comes across for a few minutes, and I think you'll realize it feels a bit ick. No, it does not at all. It doesn't. No, that's you're imagining things in your own mind here. Sure, we can talk about the differences between Western RPGs and Eastern RPGs, but Western should not be the default for the term RPG, which it's not, because you just made the distinction there yourself that there are Western and Eastern, and clearly within Eastern there is the subset that is Japanese. I mean, it's not that hard to figure this out. And clearly, I think she's just doing this, again, to buy into woke ideology, which is all about division, destruction. And then she says, also, I think if you're white, please consider thinking before tweeting. So again, it also has a racial animus to her as well. And clearly telling white people to basically not talk on this subject, which I'm not doing. I'm not taking her advice because it's terrible advice. She said, and she says, also, I think if you're white, please consider thinking before tweeting. Actually, I don't know that it's racist because, well, it's not. Then promptly delete that tweet and listen to the opinions of the people you're putting in a box. Who are we putting in a box? There's plenty of disagreement about this. You've seen a number of developers from Japan saying that they're totally fine with the JRPG, and we can share our opinions as well. Just because we don't look a certain way, it does not mean we cannot share our opinions about video games. It's utterly ridiculous and just stupid. And stuff like this needs to be rejected. Unhinged behavior, right? We're talking about unhinged behavior. Clearly unhinged here from Jessica Cogswell. In August 2021, she said, hey, a quick reminder to white people. As a white person, we definitely don't need to weigh in and give our takes on something that is pretty definitively not in our lane. Let's listen to what our black peers are saying and respect their ideas and opinions on the subject, please. So, I mean, clearly she has something against white people commenting on various subjects. I don't even know what she's really talking about here, but she's telling white people not to comment on them. It's just utterly ridiculous and unhinged. And then she specifically took issue with the race and sex of individuals that worked at Typhoon Studios, the developers behind Journey to the Savage Planet. She said, I don't know, I pretty much expected the team behind Journey to the Savage Planet to look like a white boy frat house. So clearly taking issue with the fact that it looks like a lot of the individuals there are white males. So clearly, again, like I said, has animus towards white males. And it's repeated over the past half decade or so. And this is a person who is writing or is an editor at GameSpot. In May 2021, she said, I know there's a lot going on today. If you're white, we need to sit back and listen. So again, telling white people basically to not talk on a specific subject. We do not get to weigh in on black experiences and colorism. A lot of folks are processing, learning, and having conversations. You do not need to center yourself right now. Listen, again, this is all woke ideology stuff. This stuff is absolutely evil. It is brain rot. It is poison. It is soul crushing, soul destroying. And I think we kind of see this as like how Jessica's like calling something that is clearly very reasonable as unhinged. You see the world in a completely different way. You don't even view reality for what it is. All you do is kind of you have like a completely new filter on, and you're living in some kind of bizarro world that you've created within your own mind that matches up with a bunch of other people that push woke ideology as well. It's very, very poisonous, very evil, very cult-like. And then she added, also be cognizant of the fact that white people literally create an industry and community that is super toxic and competitive and causes increased tension in marginalized groups. Know our role in this, have some grace, and sit down. So accusing white people of creating an industry that is super toxic. I mean, just absolutely unhinged comments here from Jessica Cogswell. And she is the one who's saying that asking for a game that promised you something to actually deliver on that promise is unhinged. I mean, you really just can't make this stuff up, folks. These are the people that hate you, and we must reject it. We must say no to them. But we also have to, I think we also have to pray for people like this. I mean, she's clearly wounded. She clearly has a lot of suffering and pain happening, but we need to pray for her. Hopefully, God will soften her heart. But at the same time, we have to reject this stuff. We have to say no to this. We have to oppose it. We cannot just let them kind of steamroll this stuff. And that's why I'm doing this video while I'm calling her out. But at the same time, I can still pray for her. But let me know what you guys make of what Jessica Cogswell had to say here. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, but to always speak the truth.